All right. Hello, Tarek. How are you?
I'm good, Orma. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So we met, well, at least I've seen you at the District 61 conference that happened last week. It was actually my first time attending a conference, and it was probably the best decision that I have made. I watched for the first time some speech context, which is something that I have not seen before. And I also attended your workshop about mentorship, and I told myself, why not invite you here today to do an interview with me about your experience with Toastmasters. So first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself, and tell us also which Toastmaster club you're part of and when did you join Toastmasters Club.
Well, thank you so much, Orma, for having me today, and congratulations. You made an excellent choice by attending the District 61 conference. I remember when I attended it for the first time a few years ago. I could not go again to the conference. You learn a lot in workshops. You see world-class competitions and speeches, you make a lot of good connections. So my name is Tarek Hussein, and I am the current president of KEYS Toastmasters, which is a corporate club in Kingston, Ontario. And I'm professionally, I am a pharmacist by trade. I am a licensed pharmacist in Ontario and work in the community. I'm just also finishing my Doctor of Pharmacy. So I'm graduating next month. This will give me also some opportunities to work a little bit in the hospital again, because I used to work in some capacity in the hospitals a few years ago. And I'm also an entrepreneur, so I created several businesses, but the pharmacy is one of them. But I'm also very interested in digital health. I have a couple of startups on that domain, and I'm a Toastmaster. So I joined Toastmasters in 2018, and it was kudos to my wife, who is an avid Toastmaster, an experienced one. And when we met 10 years ago, she kept saying, you need to just check Toastmasters. You need to, and she's very nice and quiet, and calm. Like you need to check Toastmasters. And then I went, and this is very interesting. Maybe it'd be interesting for you. I went to a club and I didn't like it at all.
Okay.
I said, that's very slow. This is the way that they're doing, very, very restricted. But then I had a friend who was a Toastmaster, and he invited me to his club.
Okay.
And went to that club, which is downtown Kingston Toastmasters. I was blown away. And it was 7 a.m. in the morning. They meet every Thursday at 7 a.m. in the morning. And I said, oh my God, do I need to go at 7 a.m.? And I went. And I saw a couple of speeches that literally blew my mind right away. And I said, okay, that's what I want to do. And I joined right away at the same day. And the rest is history.
When was this? In which year did you join?
It was 2018. So it's almost 7 years right now as a Toastmaster. Yeah.
Okay. Well, definitely you give a very lengthy introduction about yourself. And like we say at Toastmasters, we wear many hats. You are a man who wears many hats. So that's very impressive. And I'm assuming that your wife was the person who, let's say, made you do the first step of joining Toastmasters. Is that why you joined the club?
Yeah, definitely. She was always like saying that you would definitely improve your public speaking and even speaking in general, because English is not my first language.
Yeah.
And she always encouraged me to go to Toastmasters so I can improve learn the techniques, as you know, in Toastmasters.
Yeah.
To better speak, whether in a short or a long speeches.
Yes. So here's my first question. I know you attended the first club, you didn't like it, and then you joined the second one, which has been, I'm assuming you have been always part of the same club, unless you're part of other clubs. And what was your first experience like? Meaning that, were you called to give a mini speech, let's say like a table topic? Were you called to do a table topic session? What was your first experience, like speaking experience like?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So I joined Downtown Kingston Toastmasters, and I co-founded KEYS Toastmasters, and I'm currently KEYS only because of time commitments, but definitely Downtown Kingston Toastmasters is like home to me. So I pretty much remember my first speech was an icebreaker, and I'm an overachiever in a way. Like I like to do things like right away, quickly. So I think I signed up quickly for my icebreaker. I did a timer and a grammarian, but I went to the icebreaker, and I remember very well because downtown Kingston, the structure in the club is almost like a theater. So it's almost like a stand-up comedy. So you stand and people are sitting in front of you.
Yeah.
And I was doing my icebreaker, and I remember very well it was about my name. About my name as Tarek, and how people are in Canada are very kind, very Canadian, like trying to make sure that they say my name properly, and the different ways people try to say my name, and how my mom would call me, and how that is different from this. But I remember very well, I'm a pharmacist, and I was working in sales and marketing, and I did hundreds and hundreds of presentations in my professional life. But when I stood up to do my icebreaker, because it was about me, that was frightening. I remember my legs were shaking, and I couldn't hold myself up in the first couple of minutes until I started talking. But then, Toastmasters, people were very encouraging. You can see the faces, and I got some courage. I drew courage actually from people's eyes to be able to continue my icebreaker.
Tarek, I think it was meant to be that we were supposed to meet today, because you know what was my icebreaker about?
Your name.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
Yes,
well, it was a name, but different first names.
Mine was more about the meaning of my name and how it was tied to my personality and the person that I am today. But it's interesting to see, because usually when people do icebreakers, they're really telling about their life. They're just tell us why they're here and what they do in their professional life. And I remember when I gave my icebreaker, I wanted to make it different. I wanted to make it unique. And I was like, why not talk about my name, which is something very important for me? And so I'm surprised that you also spoke about your name. I mean,
I said the same things. I talked about the meaning of my name, and
it was just meant to be.
Exactly. That's very, very, very nice and surprising, actually, to know that we did the same speech without.
Yeah, it's so interesting. So I want to ask you, what are some of the things that you have learned the most from Toastmasters? Because I know that you had so many leadership roles at Toastmasters. You also co-founded the club that you're part of. So I want to know, what are some of the lessons that you have, some of the things that you have learned that you were also able to apply in your professional job?
Yeah. So what is unique about Toastmasters is structure. Mm-hmm. I think the most important thing that you learn from Toastmasters, whether the meeting structure, the speech structure, the club structure, the district structure, it is very structured. And sometimes even it can look like it's, oh my God, that's a lot of structure. But structure creates action and creates discipline in a way.
Yes.
So when you know the structure of speech, and we talk about even icebreaker, table topics, which is an involent, like a quick speech. It has a structure. Even if you're a timer, you stand up, you have to have a structure. So you have an opening, you have the body, and then you close. And once you understand the structure and you practice it, you definitely can apply it to your life in any kind of a speech you're doing. Even if you're talking on the phone with somebody, or when you are, as we know we say all the time, when you're in an elevator with your boss and they ask you about what's going on with your project that I gave you, or. So I think the most important thing you learn from Toastmasters is the structure and following structure until you master your craft.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. It's very well organized. Every single meeting that you attend, everyone knows what they're doing. Everyone has a role. Everyone is prepared. There is a team, there is a time that you have to follow, because if you want to be out of certain time, you want to make sure that you don't speak too long. Yes, definitely. And if someone is interested in joining Toastmasters, like, what would you tell them? Because we all know public speaking is something that people fear, but if people are interested, what would you tell them to do?
I tell them don't hesitate. Honestly, Toastmasters is a very inclusive and kind environment. If the person is afraid or shy, this is basically the best place to be. They will if they follow the leads of the Toastmasters that are there, who have more experience than them, and get mentored properly from the beginning, they will be able to start to fly off in their speaking, and be able to be articulate and lose the fear, and they can even pick up more things. Like, for example, they'll be able to improve the leadership by participating in some leadership roles inside the club, the area, the district, whatever it takes. And I think, to add to this, and also to complete part of the previous question, which was very important, getting a very positive and supportive feedback. Mm-hmm. This is an excellent culture in giving that, and actually you learn that, and you need to apply it even in life. Like when you give a feedback to anybody right now, being in a Toastmaster, you know that you'll be empathetic. You know that you'll be positive. And I always have a quote that I love a lot. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. Yeah. And I think Master teach you how to say it properly.
Yes, definitely. Exactly. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. And you touched upon mentorship, and you gave a workshop about mentorship. So do you want to tell us a little bit about the mentorship program at Toastmasters? Because I feel like not many people know about it, and people think about Toastmaster as just, you only learn about, public speaking, but as you have just said, you learn about, giving feedback, you learn about leadership, and there's also mentorship. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Thank you so much. I think mentorship is key, and one of the things that made me who I am today as a Toastmaster, after my wife advised to join, is the mentors I had in all the clubs and the roles I did, and it is huge. Downtown Kingston, for example, is a club based on a big culture of mentorship, and that's why it's a very thriving club. They have around 35 members all the time, even though they meet 7 a.m. Every Thursday, so it's 4 times a week. It's very early, but there is still a lot of members, and the reason for that is members feel included, and they feel that they are mentored. They feel they progress faster. So there's a lot of benefits of mentorship for the club, for the mentors, and for the mentee or the protege that is going to be mentored. So quickly, for the mentor, it's always great to give back and to share your expertise about your experience in Toastmasters and in life. And for the protege, it's great to have somebody who can give you this experience, right, and help you to go quickly. If you are shy, or if English is not your first language, having a mentor will make these barriers disappear very, very quickly. And if this happens, the club will thrive, because people will feel belonging to the club, and they will stay, and they will tell their friends and their family, you know what, I'm in this club, you should come and try, especially if they know that they need that kind of confidence and improving their communication skills.
Yes, definitely. I totally agree about the mentorship part. When I was the VP of Education at my own club, I was advocating about mentorship, and I was always telling my club members, oh, did you know that we have a mentorship program? You can be paired up with a mentor, because I think it's important. I also had a mentor myself. I would always ask my mentor questions before giving a speech, and ask him okay, how do I deliver this speech? This is the pathway. This is the speech objective. I need your help. And I think, and it's also something we have talked about also in your workshop, having a mentor really accelerates your growth within Toastmasters. So
and the interesting thing about mentorship in Toastmasters is you can have more than one mentor.
Yeah.
And you can switch mentors depending on your speed. Mm-hmm. Right? Like if you want to go for district, or if you want to go for becoming an area director, for example, I'm sure you have excellent mentors in your club, but maybe you want to get a mentor who was an area director before, or a division director, and that's fine. And you can have that mentor plus your club mentor, and on, and you can end up having 3-4 mentors. They're helping you in different parts of improving your communication and becoming a better public speaker, competing in competitions, or even having leadership roles.
That's right. I totally agree with you on that. And I want to ask you two more things. The first one is about the pathway program, and I want to know which pathway you have completed or completing, and also if you can tell us a little bit about the pathway program at Toastmasters.
Okay, Pathways basically is again, structured program to improve or to take the member, the Toastmasters member, from the beginning to help them with the public speaking as stages. So there are 5 levels in each pathway, and the more you get into level 1, level 2, level 3, you start to get much more high level speeches, bigger projects. In some levels, level 4, for example, you get to give a 25 minutes instead of the regular 5 to 7 minutes speech. You have to do projects, which includes leadership activities, like, for example, playing a role in the executive leadership team of your club, or being in a district, or running a project, or running a competition inside the club. But also you can use this as also delivering some high-end speaking engagements, like, for example, running a panel discussion for half an hour, or stuff like that. So it starts at the very basic level, but just as we were speaking about the icebreaker, which is basically just go without any structure, talk about yourself, introduce yourself, pick whatever topic you want. We both picked up to talk about our names, and I think it's a good introduction. But then you start to ask you, okay, now talk about, give the speech and get feedback, and then implement the feedback, and then give a speech and focus on moving on the vocal varieties, like how to, get up and down in your tone, or slow or stop, do the pauses, all the techniques in speaking, and also using your hands or the movement on the stage, all these things. So every speech you give, every level you go up, you start to incorporate and you practice on a different level. Level 3, you start to learn about mentorship, and you start to present even a speech about your leadership style and how to implement mentorship. So there's a lot of things during the pathways, and the pathways basically pretty much the first 3 levels are pretty much very similar to each other. The last 2 levels are different based on the different pathways. So the one that I loved, and I just finished, I actually finished 2 pathways, and I'm doing the 3rd, but the one that was really close to my heart is engaging humor. I think it's very nice, especially in the world we live in nowadays. It's very difficult. Sometimes days are very difficult to go through, and then when you just do a pathway about engaging humor and trying to create speeches that are funny, and the pathway projects to teach you how to do that, how to engage humor on different levels, until you go to the high level in level 5. That was really very, very nice and funny to do.
Interesting.
Very inspiring.
Interesting. Did you feel like it was challenging to do that kind of pathway? Because humor is hard to implement.
It is one of the most difficult things to do, to write or to deliver, because I also like to write a little bit in humor, and I think I think it's challenging, but if you start to implement it, you will start to see the benefits, because it's not easy. It's not something. It's easy to give a speech, a melodramatic speech, like easy, and complain about everything. But it's very difficult to give a speech to make people, at least a funny speech, or to make people laugh. That's very difficult.
I couldn't agree more on that. It's very, very hard to say a joke. It's very hard, definitely. So I'm assuming here are the benefits of doing that particular pathway. So as we're approaching the end of this, I want to ask you to tell me your top 3 public speaking tips. Your top 3.
Top 3 public speaking tips. So I would say the first one is, don't rush into this speaking quickly. Take your time for a few seconds to understand the question and what's behind it. And you can do that by either pausing or repeating the question. Like even if you're talking to somebody on the fly, like you're somebody and somebody tell you, Orma, what? And then you say, sorry, I didn't hear. Can you repeat that again? And probably you could have heard the person, but it's always nice to ask for repeating, because that will give you three to 5 seconds to think. Okay. And while you're doing that, the second point that I recommend is apply the structure right away in your mind. And the structure is simple. Okay. Is introduction, like opening or get them in the speech, and then fill in and then close. Okay. And I can say that in other words, tell them what you're going to tell them, and then tell them, and then you told them. Okay. So that is the second part. And the third part, you just make sure to close with a summary and conclusion to emphasize the point that you're talking about.
Yes, I agree. And this is something that you apply when you're doing actual speeches, but also mini speeches. That's something that we have learned during the table topic session. Buy some time by re-asking the question. Make sure to have a structure and make sure to summarize. And it's important to have a structure when delivering a message. So I very much like your top 3 public speaking tips.
I can say something. Sometimes you don't need to answer the question exactly. Like you if you have this structure, you can even divert.
Right.
In the opening, you can say, this is a very interesting question, but you know what? I actually want to talk specifically about X, and X might be something that is not related to the question at all. But then you have a structure, and people will not feel that you just did anything wrong, as long as you had that structure and fill in the right words.
That's right. Well, Tarek, this is the end of the interview. But I have a little surprise for you, which I have not told you about. We will have a rapid fire question.
Okay.
So I will give you the question. It just has to be a very quick answer. I don't need you to elaborate on anything. It's whatever comes to your mind. You just go ahead and tell me, okay? So the first question is, what's your go-to speech opening humor? What's your go-to speech opening? Is it humor, quote, or personal story?
Humor.
Second question. If you could have dinner with any public speaker, who would it be?
I would say Barack Obama. I like him and his speech style.
You know what's so funny? I just spoke with someone and they asked me, who's your favorite leader? And I said Barack Obama. We have so many things in common. Third question. If you could give a keynote speech anywhere, where would it be?
That's a very interesting question. I would say my old university, where I graduated as a pharmacist, which is in Cairo University.
Oh.
Celebrating my 50th anniversary of being a pharmacist.
Okay, I love that. Fourth question. If your Toastmaster journey was a movie, what would the title be? It's a bit tough, this one.
It would be Run for Your Life.
Run for Your Life. Okay, I like that. Last question. Your first piece of advice you received when you joined Toastmaster?
Participate.
Okay, well done. That was enough of the torture. This is officially the end of the interview. Before we go, do you want to tell us how people can connect with you?
Yeah, there are several ways. I think the best ways is through my LinkedIn profile. So it's my Tarek S. Hussein. So if you go to LinkedIn and search about my name, Tarek Hussein or Tarek S. Hussein, you'll probably find me. And I'd be happy to participate with any conversation about Toastmasters and anything else.
Perfect. Well, I will put the link to your LinkedIn on the description so people can reach out to you easily. And once again, I want to thank you for coming on my channel.
Thank you for having me on.